So Uncle Bet.
We're not there yet. One moment. I gotta do it. I gotta hit live on
Okay.
both places. One sec.
Okay.
All right. Just one moment. All right. And we are waiting for it to say it is. I hit start already. And we're live.
Uncle Bet. Welcome to Sunday prayer.
All right, Uncle
Today
Ma'at,
is
everyone.
today is July 20th. Sunday, July 20th.
All
As,
right.
as, as always, we begin with opening of the way. Okay. Let us get into the pose of adoration, facing the north. Left foot forward and right foot slightly back. Left hand forward and right hand slightly back. And as we begin, with the chant of life. Netrak in Bahet, Nuk in Bahet, Netrak Happy, Nuk Happy, Tuau and Tor, turn to Netrak As,
Circuit.
Netrak Circuit, Nuk Circuit, Netrak Kepsanuf, Nuk Kepsanuf, Tuau and Tor, turn to Netrak As, Nuk As, Netrak Amset, Nuk Amset, Tuau and Tor, turn to your right. Netrak Ni, Ni, Netrak Duamotep, Nuk Duamotep, Tuau and Tor, turn to your right. Netrak Nut, Nuk, Nuk, Netrak Geb, Nuk, Geb, Tuau and Tor, Netrak Shoot, 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 Nuk, Shoot, Nuk, Shoot, Netrak Tef, Tefnu, 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 Nuk, Tefnu, Tuau and Tor, Netrak Paut, into Nuk, into Netrak Ooh,
Into
into Nuk and Boom, into Tuau and Tor,
so we want to turn dua for that beautiful opening of the way. Welcome, Abet, to another week of M Hrw, which is the day of prayer. Today again, it's the 20th of July, and we're going to begin with our flowers as usual. First, give honor and thanks to the ancestors for bringing us here. Without them, we would not be. Honor and thanks to all who brought forth this legacy for us to fall upon and revitalize. Also, Give honor and thanks and praise and adoration to El Baba Heru, Al Fra, Samaj Se Pata, our hymnetter in Tepi Jabari, and of course our hymnetter Waziri, our beloved hymnetter here with us. And we can get started. As you all see, hymnetter Waziri
All right.
the book again of Spirituality Before Religions with chapter 6, starting at page 188, and it reads the afterword, chapter 43.
As we begin, so as as Shinkai has said, the point is the book of coming forth today by night. A prophet is not a psychic. A prophet is an excellent historian. When you study the past, you understand the present that will allow you to predict the future. It is always important that we can apply the wisdom of the past and the present to project onto the future and to project ourselves into the future. The book of the coming forth today by night offers many allegories that can be used as guideposts for us in our daily lives. While I find many great metaphors in every chapter, I have chosen chapter 43 of the book of the coming forth today by night because it guides the reader to unite themselves, their families, their communities, and the world with the cosmos, to become one again. This concept infers that they were once united with the Creator before conception, birth, then separated from the Creator when they were conceived, born, living their life searching for union with the Creator, finally be reunited with the Creator after life. Chapter 43 views the Assyrian drama from varying perspectives. The ancient authors discuss the cutting up of Assad's body into 14 pieces as a person who is dissembled and whose body parts are separated and scattered to various places in Kemet. It becomes the responsibility of the Neteru, Tahuti, wisdom, and Aset, determination, and Nebetet, intuitive instinct to find the body pieces of a saw in order to put them back together again. Tahuti, Aset, and Nebehet journey represents the living journey of human beings, while mirroring Assad's journey of resurrection as an example of the judgment of the human being's heart, soul in the next world. While the ancient authors spoke of this journey of liberation after death, they simultaneously compared the after death spiritual experience to humanity's daily life. They stressed that there was a relationship between life and death on earth. Chapter 43 can be studied from two distinct but related concepts. One, a spiritual allegory describing what happens when a human being dies and their heart and soul is judged for their life's work. A metaphor for Pan-Africanism, the unity of African people worldwide. Just a word before the difference between Asar and Ani. Asar represents the living person, the total journey of a person's experience on earth. Ani represents that same person's heart and soul that is being judged for his or her thoughts, words, and deeds during their lifetime's journey. Joined together, Asar and Ani is the deceased journey after death in the eternal temple of immortality, using the life of the deceased. And I said, do I never? And I say, reading this book gets deeper and deeper.
Yes, it does. And as you were reading that, I was trying to turn to chapter 43 in the Rayu Perkin Hebrew. I was trying to locate that chapter, but this explains the gist of it. And I of course, I have to giggle because every week is something, I was having a conversation, I guess, with the M Hrw, I could say, because I've seen some others here lately talk about prophecy and prophesizing and being prophets and things like that. And this is a great description because there were times, and even recent times, I was thinking, how does one know that he or she is a prophet? You have people who are, self-appointed prophets who have not studied the work, studied the history, gone back to see any of the history of their roots, but are, prophesizing the future. How do you feel about that, Himnetter?
Well, it's important to understand, like Kava says, it's your journey, and as you go through your journey, and this is your spiritual life that you're dealing with in this journey, you're understanding as 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 your life being that you are your spirit was a human, a, 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 a human, a spiritual lifestyle of a human having a human experience.
Right.
So as we go forth and we understand, and as the thing is that where did where did we begin at? And that should be in the back of your mind. And that, as they said, that is the fact of the Netaru. So you look to the mind, and then we look to Hudi, which is wisdom, and then there's a set, which is determination, and our sister Nebatet is immutative instinct to find the body pieces of a saw in order to put him back together. So the thing is that we are reassembling what we lost in the fact of our transition to becoming from the spiritual world and coming forth as human. It's so important to understand that. And the thing that we lost that, but we're going through this human life of experiences, and those things are some things that we can relate to because we can utilize that to predict with the fact that that we were given certain instructions from from the creator, and that's so important to understand.
Absolutely. And like you said, we are spiritual beings having this human experience. And as you can see, so many people, not just Africans, but people from all walks of life, the memories are pulling at them, which is that deeper need for us to connect to our history and our ancestors and our true divinity, because we get lost in things that I won't say don't matter, but are not the importance of living this experience to the fullest. Basically, we get clouded, we get distracted by things, just things that will come and go. Money, and I'm not saying that those things aren't important for us to sustain the life that we have here in this time and era and age of humanity, of the human experience. But often while we're scurrying around in those things, we lose the sense of our spiritual selves, the spiritual beings that we are. So we are scurrying around and we lose that connection. And most of us, when there's just a brief moment in between all the busyness, all the bill paying, all the going to work, all the doings, something pulls us. Something pulls us and reminds us that this is not what we're here for. We're not here to worry. We're not here to suffer. We're not here just to work to pay bills, but we are being distracted from that human experience that our spiritual beings are having. So I think that this, as always, a very, very, very important topic because it's something that actually has been heavy on me for the last, I want to say, couple weeks, even before the last couple of weeks of us doing this. It was just something, I gotta pay this bill, gotta pay that bill. We're in a bigger place, so things cost more. And it's not a worry that stresses me, but it stays at the top of your mind because you have to get bills paid, or you have to clean up, you have to do this or do that. But I don't get stressed about it. I just know that these are things that are attempting to cause ifsat, attempting to distract me from in having the fulfillment of the experience, the human experience, as a spiritual being, just like the rest of us, and there's nothing wrong with us working, making our money, self-employed entrepreneurs, whatever the case is, and the things that we do in life don't necessarily divide or define the spiritual essence of who and what we are. Those are just things that we do. You know what I mean? That fulfill those spaces of necessity as far as our human experience and human living. We have to sustain a home. We have to sustain food on the table. We have to, do the things that are required for us to exist in this era of time. But at the same time, just like you said, let's not get lost in us being what we are, the spiritual beings that we are, while we're having this human experience. We've got to find a way to be sure that we practice ma'at in all ways, which even in that way, where the two, the human and the spirit, can connect.
Well said, Shankar. Well said.
And I hope that
So important.
my prayer as a whole for all of us while we're here. This is not home. This is a temporary place that we exist in this time, in space. Um, but let's not forget to fulfill it. Because when we move on to the next plane, we also are going to carry these memories with us, these experiences with us. And if we're not prepared, we will still be that much further from our innate divinity. So this is preparation for the next step. Every stage of the spirit is preparation. We're supposed to gain more wisdom, more ma'at within ourselves. Something else I was looking at the other day, which made perfect sense. We are the shrine of ma'at, and we vow to follow the laws of ma'at. I've really, 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 really been in the book lately, the M Hrw. Of course, I have Baba's lovely copy, but I don't mark in that one. This one is my basically my schoolwork. And I was reading the 42 laws or 42 negative confessions, which are located, close to the back. You can find it. Actually, I marked it. You can find the 42 laws of ma'at, or negative confessions, I should say. Literally just marked it. Oh, it's right here where my finger is. You can find them on starting on page 346 in the Report M Hrw. And that's plate 31 to 32. And it's called the negative confessions, okay? Now, the reason I bring this up is because of the Sabyt that you read today. Makes perfect sense. Now, I'm going to reference both pieces because it's so that you understand why I brought this up. And you said something very powerful a moment ago about us having our human experiences. So if you take a look at the negative confessions, the 42 again starts page 347. But if you look at that, those 42 negative confessions are geared for a particular person's experience. And that person is Ani. It is not necessarily, and it's not necessarily each of us. Not to say that these laws are not valuable, because they govern, they pretty much govern, they could be said to be universal laws. But when Ani went into the hall of Ma'ari for judgment, these are 42 different Neteru that he had to say what he did not do. And I stress that to say, because what we're saying, a spiritual allegory describing what happens when human being dies and their heart and soul is judged for their life's work. When you go into the hall of Ma'ati, it may not be Himneter Waziri's speakings what Ani didn't do. Himneter Waziri has to say the things that he didn't do. Sinet Shinka is going to have to be held accountable for the things that I did not do or did do. It's not like you can hide from yourself. So if you go there with Ani's list of things, the Neteru will look at you and say, guess what? Those are the things that Ani didn't do. But what have you not done, or what have you done, beloved? This is what's important when we are the principles, the 7 principles of Ma'at are the key factors in our every facet of who we are. Our human experience, our mind, our body, our spirit, all together. So when it is our time for our hearts to be weighed, we can't go with Ani's list. We're going to have to go with our own list, because we exist now. So keep in mind, we all know that it's improper to kill, to steal, to mock God, do any of these things. But if it is not in harmony in your mind, spirit, and heart, then you know it's something that needs work. So when you go into that hall, keep in mind, just like this chapter says, a spiritual allegory describing what happens when a human being dies and their soul is judged for their life's work. Not Ani's, but their life's work, our life's work. These negative confessions are a great key to start, but we have to start assessing our own confessions individually, because we know the walks that we're walking, what we are doing and what we're not doing. And we will be held, we will be weighed for it. Whose list will you take to the hall of Ma'ati? Will it be another's, or will it be your own? I digress. That's just, it's, I don't even know why I get shocked. Every week you bring something that has been pulling on me for some time. I may not find the what scripture, what word, what text to look at, but there is something. And this is, again, what you were speaking about as far as when I asked you, how is one determined to be a prophet? That is how, because we are finding our history to see our purpose in the now. And today, just now, you reading this text, again, you all, I bet, we don't practice this, so you know. We don't pre-talk about what we're going to, what he's going to read. It just happens. But there's nothing before the Neteru that happens by chance. When he reads these texts and picks out what he's going to read, I can't even explain how much this has been something that I've been reading and thinking about. Not the text that he wrote, because I would have had no idea this is what he was going to read this morning. But I had been in the M Hrw, and I was sitting there just thinking, we follow the 42 laws or negative confessions, but these are Ani. And today you read this. How divine is that?
It's so far being divine. Powerful.
So we've all been charged with an oath. And I know that some of the other members have brought the oath up, and it always, I know when we had our meeting, I even got teary-eyed just thinking about the works that so many of the members are doing. And I mean, I sit back, and it makes me so proud to be a part of the family that we are a part of, as a whole, and that other Kemetic houses and families are coming to the forefront like we are. But we are definitely setting the bar. It's not a race, it's not a competition, but I feel it in my spirit that we're setting the bar. We are paving the way. We talked about new initiates. When we bring new initiates in, we will have a solid foundation of what we're doing in our individual lives and as a collective. And I think it's so important that we continue to do these works, continue to uncover those things that were tried to be hidden. These things were attempted to be hidden, but our ancestors in the M Hrw made sure that we would be able to unearth those that were hidden, because they knew eventually one day we would need this. And that day is now. It is now. It is now. The time, the day, the hour is now. So I can't tell you how proud I am to be a part of such a divine circle, and to be able to do this with you every week. Again, you guys, I know I keep saying it, we don't rehearse any of this. So I always have to give you your flowers, M Hrw, because you do something to my spirit that no church has ever done. Okay. And it's I guess, when they get the clapping in the Holy Spirit, I guess it's a compatible with that feeling. Um, it's a feeling I used to want to feel in church, but I never did. And I do feel it now. I understand it now.
Right.
So dua for all.
Do I. So true. So true.
All right. Well,
Is there any
I
is
had
there
no
any future
announcements for
announcements?
today. Let me just take a quick look and see if we have any requests, any announcements, anything that may have come up the pike while we were here. I'm just going to take a look and see if anybody has anything. All right, we got some comments, so I'll take a look at those. We have Heru, Dahuti Patah, Umika, Timra, Curtis Jackson, our Sin Curtis Jackson is here. We've got our Sin, or actually, I believe was also a priest, and I think he's will be at some point here with us in the Shrine of Ma'at, but he's definitely one of our 4 members, which is our Sin. And I do not want to mess up your name, Sin, so please forgive me if I do. But that's Abalifa or Abalafia Rokoku. Sorry about that. We've got our Tahuti Forever, the Jati in Arizona, William Humphrey, Anke Ma'at to you. All right. I see. Let's see. Those are the ones I see. Much more to all of you guys. And yeah, you all know how I feel, how I get all emotional. And yes, St. Curtis says, let's see what he says. Euro-Christian ideology and worldwide view from which the other modern social systems came from and perpetuate. Also, we're indoctrinated without resistance into a system designed to separate us from the knowledge of who we are. Facts, absolute facts. And that's why we can say we have come, because we're breaking that cycle. We're definitely breaking that cycle every day, every moment, every time you even say Tu'a Neter or Ashe, or simply give thanks even within yourself without the words. It is heard. It is a hekau. It is a word of power, a thought of power. Before a word, there's a thought. So there's a seed being planted in everything that we do. Let's make sure to continue to plant healthy, prosperous, divine seeds so that they grow in our great-great-grandchildren that we may never physically meet, but our spirit will still be with them in the future. And to that I say, and there are no announcements. Yes, absolutely. Right now, we are the living ancestors of the future. And
That's right.
we just step
With
into
answers that we've been waiting for.
that's right. And I
That's
think
so
that
true.
they are smiling, they are shining upon us because again, how else would we do what we do without even trying? So I really appreciate these Sundays. We will do this until we can't. And then when the day comes that we can't,
So
hopefully somebody else will pick up the torch and continue it.
no
So
doubt, no doubt.
to that, I would like
So
to end us off with the Amasu as usual. And I will, instead of citing it, let's see, I'll just go. And, earlier this week in M Hrw, I know you are not on social media much. So earlier this week, we had Sinette Cortia. She was looking for it. She found it. You know what I mean? It was great. They posted it on the page. So I will actually read it from the text and then we'll translate it. So if you'll clear your hearts and minds. Amasu impanater, saoksu. M Hrw impanater, aua tuua, maketi pa herura. And the translation is, give thyself to the one most high. Keep thyself daily for the M Hrw, and do it tomorrow just as you've done it today. And to that, we just say thank you, Shema Ma'at. We love you, we murr you, and we hope to see you all next week.
Shema Ma'at.